Tonight, the Prime Minister wades into the row over London's poor housing for asylum seekers. After protests last week, Rishi Sunak's suggestion is that they bunk in together and share rooms.
It's like 4 people in one room. It's like prison bed. You can't even sleep good. And the bathroom is inside the rooms. And the room is smelling.
Also ahead, Beckenham MP Bob Stewart is charged with racially aggravated abuse. We'll have the details. Sir Andy Murray on his changing sleep habits while playing in Surbiton.
I sleep in a different bed than usual during these weeks. I'd sleep in the spare room to try and get a better night's sleep.
And former Gurkha Harry Magar will be here in the studio after his history-making climb up the world's highest mountain. Good evening. Just days ago, we saw asylum seekers protesting at the lack of appropriate accommodation in the capital, while others had been forced to sleep rough on the streets. Well, today, the Prime Minister waded into the debate and then had to deal with the backlash. He suggested that accommodation issues could be resolved if refugees bunked together and shared hotel rooms, a proposition which hasn't gone down well with charities who say the government's approach is inhumane. Daniel Henry reports.
Life as an asylum seeker in London is hard. So hard that some people have stepped outside to draw attention to the conditions inside the hotels they say are now cramped and overcrowded. This was the scene in Pimlico, where one resident told me what it means for him.
When we come in these hotels, it's like 4 people in one room. And the bed is a small bed. It's like prison bed. You can't even sleep good. And the bathroom is inside the rooms, and the room is smelling. You go to the bathroom, you come out, you have to go outside.
It's not the life that Alex was hoping for, but today the government said it's the life he should be expecting from now on.
By asking people to share rooms where it's appropriate to do so, we found an additional 11,500 places, which will save taxpayers an extra £250 million a year. And I say to those migrants who are objecting, this is more than fair. If you're coming here illegally, claiming sanctuary from death, torture, or persecution, then you should be willing to share a taxpayer-funded hotel room in central London.
One charity that supports people like Alex told ITV News that this country has an obligation to help new arrivals.
What I would suggest to the Prime Minister is, why doesn't he share a room with some of the people and see what it is like living in accommodation like that? The accommodation in Pimlico is unsuitable. There are serious issues, as I said earlier, around both sewage allegations and also health and safety. And I think that's just the wrong language to be using at the wrong time, and it's just distraction politics.
The Home Office say that £6 million a day is spent on accommodation like this. The people staying in it and the people paying for it are both questioning if that's value for money. Daniel Henry, ITV News.
An inquest into the death of a teenager and a 12-year-old girl who died at Bournemouth Beach has found that the pair drowned. Suna Khan from High Wycombe and Joe Abbess from Southampton were pulled from the water on Wednesday but later died in hospital. A coroner at their inquest said it was likely that the pair were caught in a rip tide. The family of a man from South East London who's been missing for more than 2 weeks say they are increasingly worried for his welfare. Apale Kaloshi from Lewisham was last seen in Dover on the 21st of May. The 21-year-old has links to the Dartford area. And 15 people in East Finchley will be given £1,600 a month for 2 years as part of a trial to simplify the welfare system and tackle poverty. The payment, known as Universal Basic Income, is designed to cover people's basic needs and doesn't require those receiving it to be in work. The Conservative MP for Beckenham and Bromley, Bob Stewart, has today been charged over an alleged incident of racist abuse. Our senior correspondent Ronke Phillips has been following developments and joins us now. Ronke, what more do we know about this?
Well, he was charged under his full name, which is actually Robert Alexander Stewart, and the 73-year-old. It's 2 public order offences that he faces, and they are using threatening or abusive behaviour that has a racially aggravated element to it. Now, it relates to an incident on the 14th of December last year in Belgravia in London, where Mr. Stewart was allegedly involved in this incident, an altercation at a reception hosted by the Bahraini embassy. The row was between Mr. Stewart and Saeed Al-Wadi, and he's the director of the Bahraini Institute for Rights and Democracy. And the entire incident, as you can see, was caught on mobile phone. Now, the pair were heard having an angry exchange about a fact-finding trip that Mr. Stewart had made to Bahrain. And during this heated exchange, it's then that he's alleged to have used this threatening or abusive words. And it's worth noting, Charlene, that the second charge is an alternative charge, and it's a charge that's put there without the racially aggravated element, so that the court can consider that separately. And Mr. Stewart is expected to appear in court on July the 5th, when he'll be expected to enter a plea.
OK, Ronke, thanks very much. Now, he sparked outrage after wearing a replica Nazi-style costume on stage at a show in Berlin, but there are calls for the O2 Arena to reconsider allowing Pink Floyd bassist Roger Waters to perform there this week. Religious leaders have described his actions as anti-Semitic and say he shouldn't be allowed on stage. The venue, however, disagree. With the latest, here's Charlene Sim.
He has used the stage as a political platform since the 1970s. But when Roger Waters wore a Nazi-style uniform in Berlin last month, it caused outrage. The Pink Floyd co-founder is playing 2 gigs at the O2 this week as part of the same tour, and Jewish leaders in London are angry.
The reality is, as I've stated, that if a Jew anywhere gets attacked in any which way, be it verbal or physical, on account of some sentiment expressed by Roger Waters, then that is on Roger Waters himself and anyone who's responsible for having given him that platform.
After Berlin, protesters stormed the stage at Waters' next performance in Frankfurt. The 79-year-old later told the crowd the Nazi uniform was part of a wider narrative against fascism.
So I feel for the people who are concerned about desecrating this place. This, if you like, shrine to the memory of the men who were taken from here. I feel for them.
But the Association of Jewish Refugees says Roger Waters has made anti-Semitic comments in the past.
When he compares a victim of the Holocaust to someone who was tragically murdered in Israel, a Palestinian journalist, that's not just a neutral comparison. That's one where he's comparing the world's only Jewish state to the victims of Nazism. And that's completely unacceptable. That's Holocaust distortion, and Holocaust distortion is in itself a form of anti-Semitism.
The leader of Greenwich Council has now written to the O2 saying these provocations only serve to project further harmful stereotypes. I urge you to take all necessary steps you can to ensure the scenes are not replicated in our borough. AEG Europe, which runs the venue, told us the O2 hosts a variety of performers. Any views they express before, during or after appearing at the venue are uniquely their own. Since the Berlin performance, Waters hasn't worn the uniform at any other gig. He's still under investigation by Berlin police for incitement to public hatred. Charlene Sim, ITV News.
Still to come, the full forecast, plus the injured Gurkha making mountain history will be here to tell us about his incredible mission, and back to where it began. We Will Rock You returns to the West End. But first, students being failed when it comes to properly preparing them for climate change. That's the suggestion after data given exclusively to ITV News shows teachers' concerns regarding sustainability. And what is World Environment Day? Sally Williams has been talking to teachers and pupils.
We're going on a bear hunt. We're going to catch a big one.
You don't have to teach a child to love nature. Have you seen anything nice today?
Yeah, I've seen all these plants grow and now we can see a robin.
Oh, beautiful. Where's the robin?
Right there.
You're right, we can see a robin. Good spot. Or it seems care about the climate.
Do you worry about the climate, guys?
Yes.
Gosh, that's very affirmative. What is it that you worry about?
We worry about if climate keeps happening, then most of our animals might die because the world's getting hotter and hotter.
Climate change is top of the agenda for the eco-counsellors at St Bartholomew's Primary in Sydenham. But a survey of London's teachers given to ITV News has suggested that teaching the critical next generation about climate change has some significant challenges. 800 teachers in the capital were surveyed by Pearson, the digital learning company. And the good news is that 9 in 10 London schools are taking action to protect the planet. However, in less good news, 2 out of 3 teachers think the current education system is not developing sustainably minded citizens. And 4 in 5 say time pressures are the biggest barrier.
What we're finding is that there's a huge amount of passion, there's a lot of fantastic stuff going on in London, but that teachers are talking about a crowded curriculum and they haven't got enough time to do everything that they want.
We have a curriculum now that is coming on for 10 years old. You know, when it was designed, when it was written, a lot of these children weren't even born then. In fact, most of the children in primary school weren't born then, and perhaps a curriculum that was relevant then isn't necessarily what's as relevant is for them now.
But today the government told us it is a priority and a growing part of their education strategy.
It's really important to be clear there's a lot in the curriculum already. Of course we need to build on it, but knowledge on its own is important but not sufficient, which is why we want to build the skills as well as the knowledge.
Last year, these kids felt their city reach record temperatures. They already know climate change is happening. What they need to learn now is how to stop it. Sally Williams, ITV News, Sydenham.
Sport, and there's been a significant and encouraging developments for struggling Southend United in their ongoing search for a new owner. Today, a judge in the case looking at their financial troubles was told that a potential buyer has shown genuine interest in taking control. The club has debts of £275,000. And it may be a small grass court tennis tournament in Surbiton, but it's packing some punch with some big names. It's the Surbiton Trophy with the likes of Sir Andy Murray, Dan Evans and Harriet Dart taking part. Rags Martell went to watch the action.
Morning, Andy. Hi. The road to Wimbledon starts here. The beginning of the grass court season with a small challenger tournament with some big names. What was it like watching Andy Murray warm up?
It was great, wasn't it? Great to see him so up close. And we've just arrived, so thumbs up for the rest of the day.
Is that my top?
Yeah. What was that like watching Andy Murray?
Well, his legs are a bit strong.
Strong legs. Yeah. And he signed your top.
Yeah,
How do you feel about
cool.
that?
Really cool.
His serve is very, very good. And also with his metal hip replacement, he's also doing really well.
Surbiton is a challenger tournament, effectively the second division of the tennis ATP Tour. But for players, it's an invaluable time to get some grass court tennis in before Wimbledon. And having missed the Paris clay, Sir Andy took on South Korea's Hyun Chung. The former Wimbledon champion comfortably defeating his opponent, currently ranked 524 in the world, with a 6-3, 6-2 victory in just over an hour.
Finishing with a flourish.
Sir Andy, how important is it to get the grass court tennis underway before Wimbledon?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think when you make a decision to miss a Grand Slam to, prepare well for the grass court season, you don't want to have some early losses. It kind of makes it feel like it's counterproductive. So yeah, obviously I want to have a good run here if I can and get as many matches as I can before Queens and Wimbledon.
And in his press conference, the father of 4 said it was nice to be playing so close to home.
I sleep in a different bed than usual during these weeks. Yeah, I'd sleep in the spare room to try and get a better night's sleep. But yeah, it was really nice, like getting up in the morning and getting the kids dressed and ready for school and feeding them, and so long as we don't chat too long here, I'll get to see them before they go to bed. Sorry.
And with that, Murray took his bags home to see his family. But he'll be back Wednesday for the second round. Rags Martell, ITV News, Surbiton.
Now the ITV News continues at 6:30 with the details. Here's Mary.
Coming up in the programme, a judge expresses his surprise at the Duke of Sussex's absence from court on the first day of his case against Mirror Group newspapers. Prince Harry's lawyers said he flew in last night after celebrating his daughter's birthday, but he's been accused of wasting court time. Also ahead.
Firstly, are you okay? I hope so.
Holly Willoughby returns to This Morning saying she feels let down by Philip Schofield. And Little Monty Boys are back. We hear from the stars of the 90s film as they reprise their roles for a new TV series. Do join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Now, our guests tonight have just made mountaineering history after one of them reached the top of Mount Everest, becoming the first above-the-knee amputee to summit the world's tallest mountain. Harry Buddha is a Gurkha veteran who lost both his legs in Afghanistan 13 years ago. And on the anniversary of the moment his life changed forever, he reached the top of Everest. Well, you're back in London, Harry, and you're with us in the studio, and you brought along your mountain leader, Chris Tapper. Thank you both for coming in to talk to us. I've got to ask you, what was that moment like, Harry, when you reached the top?
It was amazing. It was great. Just to give a high five to the Sherpas and just, grab them, hug them, and I was so grateful that I just cried like a baby.
Now, we can't underestimate just how tough that climb was, because you're in freezing conditions. I think your oxygen mask was frozen by the time you reached the top, and it was an incredibly difficult mission. But why would you do it? It was so hard.
It's to making awareness of disability, because I really struggled 1.5 to 2 years after my injury, because I wasn't aware of the disability. I'd never seen the guys like myself working in the street. So it was, I struggled a lot, and I could maybe pick it up. If I was aware, then I could pick up my life much quicker and maybe enjoy life or do something else. And this is what I don't want, that other disabilities suffer longer, and make sure they pick up their life and move forward and do something else.
It's a really powerful message to give. I mean, for you, Krish, what did you think when Harry decided that he wanted to take on this challenge?
Yeah, for me it was initially it's very inspiring, and also obviously I knew that it was very challenging and demanding, but like seeing Harry 6 years ago, have that vision, and now achieve that vision and being top of the world and most inspiring, and
it's quite something, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It really is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, to give us an idea of what it was like for you, obviously you're wearing one pair of legs at the moment, Harry, but you've got the other pair that you used to climb just beside you. Should we take a look?
Yes.
Yeah.
So these are the legs that one leg is more than 5 kilograms, so it's too heavy to handle on the mountain.
Yeah.
So I take slightly shorter legs. So these are the legs.
Okay.
So these are crampons to climb ice and snow, which is never designed, and we actually designed these legs. And I can make it shorter or longer if I would like. And we have installed heating elements here.
Oh, wow.
So that I can plug in the battery and just make it warm, so that I don't lose more limbs, which is
of course,
which I can't afford.
No, you really can't afford to lose anything else. I would agree with you with that, Harry.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And these are legs that had you make history. How does that feel? You've made history. You made it up there. You made it back down, and you passed, bodies coming down as you were on your way up. So, in so many different ways, such an emotional experience, but a really powerful one, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think anything is possible when we put our mind into it and work hard. And this hasn't been an easy journey.
Yeah.
It took 5 years. We had to go to Supreme Court in Nepal to overturn the rules. I had to go to United Nations in Geneva to raise these points. And the Corona popped in, and I wanted to climb before I was 40, and I'm 43 now, nearly 44 now.
No, but you know what? You've had that impact despite being the grand old age of 43, Harry. Well, to both Harry and Krish, thanks so much for joining joining us. Thank you and congrats.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for having us.
Now, this marks 21 years since it made its debut on the West End. But tonight, we've got good news for Queen fans. After it's confirmed that We Will Rock You is definitely returning to the capital. The musical will take centre stage at the Coliseum until the end of August. And amongst the stars is my friend Brenda Edwards. And Helen Keenan went to meet her.
That familiar beat finally being heard again after a 9-year hiatus from London's West End. We Will Rock You, playing at the London Coliseum this summer. A musical packed full of Queen's greatest hits and the stars of the show in awe of the band's talent.
Freddie Mercury, you know, is such a talented artist, and you can acknowledge that just by listening to his voice on the songs. And, you know, all the songs, they're so hard to sing, but Freddie did them so beautifully and so perfectly.
The show is on the same iconic stage at the London Coliseum that saw Freddie Mercury's 1979 Royal Ballet performance.
I think knowing that Freddie performed on this stage as well is quite amazing, isn't it, really? So it's almost like he's here with us, you know. I see a little silhouette of a man.
Lee Mead has too been away from the stage for almost a decade and was convinced to go for his role by his co-star Brenda Edwards.
We did Panto together in Wimbledon at Christmas, and Brenda mentioned the show was auditioning and that she was doing it. I was like, oh, I haven't seen that for over 20 years, the show. Worked really hard on material and got the job, yeah.
He didn't think he would be good at it because it was a baddie. It's a baddie role, and he's always played a lovely...
First villain character, yeah.
So I was like, go for it, see if you can do that. And he did.
Has he pulled it off?
He's getting there.
He's been in the musical theatre business for 30 years, but this is his first time also performing on a West End stage.
It's my own, I cast myself, I passed the audition, so I can't even have the idea that the director trusts me, because of course I trust me. Yeah, it's quite intimidating because, from Brenda, Lee, Eleanor Sky, Ian McIntosh, our two leads, they're such incredible singers.
And have you got a message for the audiences and the lovely Charlene, who's obviously presenting tonight?
Charlene, you better come and see the show, girl. Come, you can be one of my fat bottom girls.
Yeah, I'll definitely be there. Not sure about the second bit. But Sally's here, and I hear we should be worried about a pollen bomb or something.
Oh, well, if you've got hay fever, yes, because obviously it's horrendous. You don't have it, do you?
Oh, goodness, no. No, I don't know. I don't dabble in such things.
I'm not having that. No, thank you very much. Unlike poor Duncan. Well, yes, we often get a peak of pollen around the beginning of June, first couple of weeks, and we've got it at the moment. It's also coupled with the weather, which is fine. It's dry, it's warm, no rain, light winds, and so it's particularly bad. So I'm afraid if you haven't got pollen, you're probably suffering. Like one of our colleagues, who sounds like he's got a cold, but it's just the hay fever. Anyway, at least the forecast's nice. Here it is.
ITV London weekday weather is sponsored by Octopus Electric Vehicles. Car, charger and energy.
Hello again. I hope you had a good Monday. Now, some of us were hoping to see a little less of this today. Cloud. Some of it was being particularly stubborn, but at least these are on their way. I'm not sure why there's only one massive one there, but it looks delicious. Right, we have got another cloudy start tomorrow, but hopefully the sunshine will get to work, start to burn it off, and you'll see a bit more of it. And again, it should stay dry for us. Let's take a look at the details. So after some evening sunshine, I hope for as many of you as possible that cloud starts to fill in, and another cloudy night to come. So it's a bit of a blanket, stops things from getting too chilly. A few areas staying up into double figures, but without that sunshine first thing tomorrow morning, it probably feels a touch on the cool side, but it will start to appear, burn away some of that cloud, and we'll start to get a little bit of blue sky and hopefully, of course, the sun. Still a bit cooler out to the east with that easterly flow, but the temperatures inland getting up to highs of 17 to 21, so fairly similar to today. And then if you've got plans in the evening, hopefully you'll have some sunshine, but that cloud is going to start to fill in as the evening progresses. Our outlook, though, looking very pleasant. Plenty of sunny spells heading our way. At times you can see the temperature starting to climb a little bit as well, and it might even get a little bit sticky as we get towards the end of the week. Here's the pollen.
ITV London weekday weather is sponsored by Octopus Electric Vehicles.
Hello, summer. Piri sponsors ITV Pollen Count.
So I'm afraid we have got these high levels over the next few days. The conditions perfect for that grass pollen to thrive, with light winds, warm sunshine, and of course, no rain. That's it. I'll see you later. Cheerio.
Finally, we're launching this year's search for a fantastic fundraiser to represent ITV London at the Daily Mirror Pride of Britain Awards, which take place later this year, and we need your help. Yes, it's time to say thank you to the people who worked tirelessly to support charities and good causes of all sizes. Here's how you can get involved. The Daily Mirror Pride of Britain Awards is one of the biggest events in the showbiz calendar, but it's the real people, not the celebrities, who are the stars of the show. And each year, one fantastic fundraiser gets to represent ITV London and attend the awards at Grosvenor House. They're even in with a chance of winning the overall ITV Regional Fundraiser of the Year award.
How are you feeling?
Last year, our regional fundraiser was Ian Conway. Along with Geoffrey the Giraffe, he's continuing the memory of his daughter Louise after losing her to leukemia. He raised more than £15,000 for Great Ormond Street Hospital. And now we need your help to find this year's ITV London winner. Here's the awards host to tell us why.
The Pride of Britain Awards are all about the special people who make our world a better place to live in. And the ITV Regional Fundraiser Awards is where you come in, because we're looking for those people who go that extra mile to raise money. We want you to nominate them. Now, it doesn't matter how much money or how little they raise. This award is all about how they're doing it, why they're doing it, and their selfless determination to inspire others.
So if you'd like to nominate someone to be our Regional Fundraiser of the Year, you can head to our website. That's itv.com/Pride of Britain. You can only nominate individuals and they must be aged 18 years or over. If you are under the age of 18, please get permission from a parent or guardian before you nominate. The closing date for nominations is Friday the 6th of August at 11:59 p.m. and full terms and conditions and our privacy notice can be found on our website. Well, that's it from us. The ITV News at 6:30 is up next with Mary. But for now, from all of us on the London team, enjoy your evening. Bye-bye.